Hi guys, in this video I cover the logical OR operator. I go over the truth table and then I continue with an example. Let's start out with a truth table. So the OR operator is a binary operator and it needs two operands, A and B. A and B can be a variable, it can be a condition, but it has to evaluate to true or false. So if it's just a variable, it has to be a Boolean variable. The two vertical slashes here, that's the symbol for the OR operator. And now let's take a look at the truth table. We have two operands, A and B. Now when A is false and B is false, it is false. When A is false and B true, it is true. When A is true and B is false, it is true. And when A and B is true, it is also true. So essentially when we have A or B, either one or both of them can be true. It is not an either or. So if both of them are true, that's fine too. But if both of them are false, then the overall condition is false. Now let's take a look at an example. Let's say we want to check if an option is A through C or 0. So this could be something, a program where you prompt the user to enter a menu option, and the menu can be A, B, or C, or 0 to exit the program. I create a variable of type scanner and initialize it to a new scanner object. Then I need to import the scanner. And next I output a prompt, enter A through Z or 0 to exit. Now with that prompt, I declare a character variable named option, and I use the scanner to read in the next character. So I read the entire line and take the very first character at index 0. Now I have the character in the variable. Now what I want to check if it's A, B, C, or 0. So I use the condition. I check is the option A, and note that I use single quotes because we're dealing with characters. And then I can say or option equals B, and so on. Note that I use the logical OR operator. The AND operator really doesn't make sense because it would require both of these conditions to be true. And the option cannot be B and A at the same time. So here we just want either one of them. Or the option can be C, or I also mentioned the option can be 0. Do you notice anything odd? You guessed it right. I forgot to add the single quotes to the 0. So when we're dealing with character types such as character, we want to be sure that we compare to the same character type in the condition. So I don't want to compare to 0 because that would not give me the expected result of the condition. Now let's output you entered A, B, C, or 0. And when I run this here, I can enter a value. Let's say enter B. I get you entered A, B, C, or 0. If I enter A, again, it will check here A. It is A and will enter it. Now, if you watch my other video on the AND condition, the AND operator will only check individual conditions as long as they are true, until one that is encountered that is false, and it will stop. Something similar here with the OR operator occurs. The OR operator will only check, and it will keep checking as long as the condition is false. When the condition becomes true, it will stop checking. So if I enter, for example, C, so I run this program, I enter C. When I run this, it will check the first one. Is option equal A? It is C, so this is false. It will continue to the next one. Is it B? This is false. And it will continue as long as each individual condition is false. Now, if the option is C, this is true. Only one of them here has to be true when we look at the truth table. So there's no point in continue checking. This is C. It will execute the code block, and it didn't even check option 0. So remember, when you have OR conditions, it keeps checking as soon as it finds the first one that is true. If all of them are false, it didn't find a true one, it will not execute the code block. Now let's try something invalid. Let's say option E. This did not execute the statements in the code block, and it simply skipped it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.